Hello everyone. In this video, I will explain a concept which is polynomial arithmetic. That means performing different arithmetical operations based on the polynomials. Okay. We also discuss what is the finite field, the meaning of finite field, the finite field of the order p, a finite field of the order p to the power n. Okay. So all these things we will understand in this video. Now, to begin with. See, what is meant by a finite field? The finite field is nothing but it is the field which consists of finite number of elements. Now, in the cryptographic algorithm, this finite field actually plays a very important role. Okay, the order of that finite field, that is nothing but it is the number of elements. Whenever I say order of the finite field, it is nothing but it is the number of elements. It should be the power of some prime number p to the power n, where this n is some integer. It may be 1, it may be 2, or it can be anything. Okay, so you know what is prime number is. A prime number can be is a number which can be divided by itself, or maybe 1. That's all, right? That means the divisors of the p are nothing but they are either p or 1. Okay, now if I consider a finite field of the order p to the power n, okay, where p is a prime number, say 2, maybe n is 3, in that case the order is 2 power 3, 8. That means I have elements from say 0 to 7, right? So in generally the number of elements are 8 in that case, where p is 2 means it should be a number, okay, a binary number. So in general it is written as Galois field of p power n, where this Galois field, Galois is a mathematician. It is named after him because he worked on the finite field. Okay, the special case is for when n equal to 1, that is p to the power 1, let us say. That is very important to understand. We will discuss that also. That is Galois field of p, let me say. Maybe Galois field of say 7. 7 is a prime number. Galois field of maybe 11, right? This is the prime number. It actually forms a finite field. Okay, and the second case is for n more than n. That's what we need to understand. Now, what do you mean by the finite field of the order p? Okay, so I have a prime number p here. Okay, let us say Galois field of p there. Okay, now consider a set zp where the integers are all from 0 to p minus 1. If I say p is equal to 7, in that case a zp, the set zp consists of integers from 0 to 6. Okay, so we have to perform an arithmetical operation under modulo p, that is mod 7, let us consider. Okay, that means whatever the answer you get should be within the set, that is z7. Okay, or in general let us say zp, where p is a prime number. Fine. So this, let us consider now zn, where n is not a this one prime number, but just one second. Yeah. So zn, okay, another case zn where n is an integer. It can be anything. 0 to n minus 1 number of elements can be existing in that particular set zn, where n can be anything, maybe 8, maybe 10, whatever. It not necessary that it should be a prime number. In that case, this set of integers actually forms a commutative ring. We have understood that in my, I think I have explained that in my previous video. Okay. Now in that case, we cannot have a multiplicative inverse, and the problem is with the division operation. We cannot perform a division operation. If n is a prime number, there exists a multiplicative inverse. Okay, it actually forms a field. Okay, in that case, we can say there is a multiplicative inverse existing for every element of that zp. Okay, when I say z7, the elements are from 0 to 6, and all these elements from 0 to 6 except that 0, 1 to 6 will have a multiplicative inverse. So if I write that in the statement form for a field, okay, with some prime number p, for every element w in zp, where w is not equal to 0, I have told that there exists a element say z belonging to the same zp such that w into z congruent to 1 modulo p, that is w into z mod p is always equal to 1, or 1 mod p is always 1, w into z mod p is also equal to 1. Okay, that is 1 is the identity element over there. Okay, so that means simply saying if it is a prime number, okay, if I have a set of prime numbers, if I have a set with the order equal to p, the prime number, in that case we have a multiplicative inverse. Okay, now if there is a multiplicative inverse, and as I told, it actually forms a finite field, in that case I can satisfy this condition also. That is, if a into b congruence to a into c mod p, where a, b, c are all the elements of the same zp, Okay, then we can say that B is congruent to C mod P. What I have done here is I have simply substituted, let us say I know the inverse, I have an inverse actually because it is a finite field, right? So I substitute the inverse of the A in the equation, that's what I have done over here, A inverse into A into B, congruence to A inverse into A into C. I have substituted the inverse on both the side of this equation. What I'll get, A inverse into A is 1, so it is B. Here also this cancels over here, B congruence to C mod B. This condition can also be satisfied. Fine. Now, I can consider a special case here, Galois field of 2, where P is a prime number, 2 power n, I said n equal to 1, let us consider. In this particular special case, okay, now just look at the table, Galois field of 2 means I should have only the elements from between 0 and 1, right? It is 2 power 1, a group of 1 bits. Either 0 or 1, that's a possibility. So I have written those numbers actually in the rows and the columns. I'm performing addition and multiplication over Galois field of 2. Okay, just look at this. 0 plus 0 is 0, 0 plus 1 is 1, 1 plus 0 is 1, 1 plus 1 is actually 2, right? But we have to reduce it by modulo 2. Because it's a Galois field of 2, answer should be anything 0 or 1, it should be. Only 2 elements are possible. So that means reduce it by mod 2. So 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 mod 2 is 0. Right? Now just look at this multiplication table. 0 into anything is 0 only, so it's done. 1 into 0 is also 0, 1 into 1 is 1. Correct? Now just look at this addition table and multiplication table. Okay? The addition is actually equivalent to a XOR operation. Just perform an XOR operation here. 0 is 0 XOR, it is 0 only. 0 XOR with 1 is 1. 1 XOR with 0 is 1. 1 XOR with 1 is 0. And that means addition under the Galois field of 2 or a modulo 2 operation, what we say is an exclusive OR function. Multiplication is nothing but it is equivalent to a AND function. 0 into 0 is 0, 0 into 1 is 1, sorry 0, 1 into 0 is 0 and 1 into 1 is 1. It's an AND function, right? So under the Galois field of 2, make note this point, addition is exclusive OR function and multiplication is logical AND function. Now just look at this also, the inverses. So we have an inverse. The inverse for 1 is 1 itself, right? This is the inverse of 1 because 1 into 1 I'll get as identity element, that is 1. Okay, so I have additive inverse for 1 again, so additive inverse is 1 only because I'm getting a 0 there, the identity element under addition operation. So this is Galois field of 2. Now I'll take another example where I'll show Galois field of 7, how to write a table for addition and multiplication. Just look at this. The Galois field of 7, arithmetical operation under Galois field of 7. I'm doing a addition operation and multiplication operation here, right? That means the answer should be within 7. You cannot get 7, right, or more than 7. If you get 7 or more than 7, reduce it by 7. Just look at this example. Now I'll take one example, just wait. Yeah, so say 4 it's taking a bit time here. Okay, fine. So let us say 4, I want to add it with say 5. 4 plus 5 is how much? 4 plus 5 is 9, right? The answer is actually 9. If I reduce that by a mod 7, because it's a Galois field of 7, mod 7, 9 mod 7 is 2, correct? This is the answer here. Is it right? That is the answer. Say one more example. 6 plus 6, 6 plus 6 is 12. 12 mod 7 is 5. This is the answer. Okay, multiplication, similar to addition, it is same here. 5, let us say 5 into 3. Okay, it is 15. 15 mod 7 is 1. This is the answer. 6 multiplied by 5 is 30. 30 mod 7 is 2, the remainder. Modulus means finding a remainder always, correct? So if I write a additive inverse and a multiplicative inverse here, for all the numbers we have multiplicative inverse. Just look at this. This is the difference. This is the difference between say Z8 and Galois field of 7. Because it's a prime number, that means all the numbers between 0 to except 0, 1 to 6 will have a additive inverse as well as multiplicative inverse. So this is the conclusion. Now let us understand how to perform a polynomial arithmetic. Okay, how to perform a arithmetical operation by using polynomials. But there are 3 different ways you can do this depending on the type of elements you consider. Okay, the 3 different ways of doing this arithmetical operations are, this is the first one, by using basic rules of algebra. Okay, performing arithmetical operation. The second one is performing arithmetical operations under the modulo P. Okay, that means the coefficients, whatever you consider for a polynomial, should be within the Galois field of a prime number p. This is the second case. Fine. The third one is performing a polynomial arithmetical operation under Galois field of p. Okay, and the polynomials are defined over another polynomial, okay, which is an irreducible polynomial. What is exactly the meaning of that irreducible polynomial? I will explain a bit later. Okay, by using that irreducible polynomial of m of x. Fine. So we have to understand the three different ways of performing arithmetical operation on polynomials. Now, just look at this. This is the first one. Okay, before going into the first arithmetical operations, briefly what is polynomial is, okay, a polynomial with say degree of n, okay, we can represent that polynomial something like this. Okay, this is f of x is a polynomial and this is a general representation of a polynomial. A n x to the power n plus a n minus 1 x to the power n minus 1 so on a naught. Or in the summation form if I write, it's a very easy way of representing, right? Where this ai is nothing but it is the coefficient, and all these coefficients from an to say a1, all these coefficients are forms actually a set, let us say yes. Okay, I call them as a coefficient set, the coefficient set. Okay, now if the degree of the polynomial is 0, such polynomials are called as constant polynomials. Okay, let us say a naught, that's it, the degree is 0. And nth degree polynomial, let us say this is the nth degree polynomial, is said to be monic polynomial if this an is equal to 1. Okay, it's called monic polynomial. And we can perform a different operation like addition, subtraction, multiplication. Okay, and division is possible if the set of coefficients, that is S, is a field, because in that case only we can have a multiplicative inverse and we can perform a division operation. Now, how to perform addition and subtraction, that I'll explain later. The multiplication, okay, and subtraction can be done by using addition itself, right? Now, what is f of x? F of x is given by this equation. Let us consider this is the first polynomial I have considered. This is the second polynomial, okay, where the degree of this polynomial is higher than this polynomial. That's what we are assuming. Then we can define addition as f of x plus g of x is nothing but it is summation of ai bi to the power xi plus summation I goes from 1 m plus 1 to n ai into xi. Okay, so as long as the coefficients are matching, say from 0 to m, directly you have to add those particular set of elements. Okay, and this will be having the coefficients or the number of elements more than this in that case, because n is more than m, for right as it is. That means, simply say, take this example. I have a of f of x and g of x, two polynomials. In general I have taken, later I will take problems. So a2 x square plus a1 x plus a naught, b1 x plus b naught. Okay, so this and this is matching, that means it is a1 plus b1 into x, a naught plus b naught, that's what I have written over here, right? A2 x square, this is a higher degree, this is the lower degree polynomial, so a2 x square I am writing as it is. So this is equivalent to, you can say, this, whatever I have written over here is same as this. And these things are represented using this as well as this and this. Okay, now what about the multiplication operation? The multiplication operation is, just look at this. So multiplication of the two polynomials, say f of x and g of x, is given by summation I go from 0 to n plus m. That means the multiplication will have the highest degree, which is equal to n plus m, which is ci into xi, where ci is nothing but this equation. I'll take an example. Now just look at this. Okay, this is how you perform a multiplication. So normal algebra, by using a polynomial method, we are actually performing this multiplication. So direct multiplication operation. So again, same polynomials I have taken. Okay, just have to multiply this polynomial with this polynomial. So what we get, this is the answer. Okay, so I have already told degree of the product is equal to the sum of the degree of the two polynomials, whatever I have mentioned here. Okay, this is the highest degree what I can get over here. Fine, that is x2 plus x is x cube. That's it. Now I'll take an example and explain the same concept. Okay, how to perform a polynomial arithmetical operation by using the basic rules of algebra, the first method. Let's look at this. This is the example I have. Okay, x cube plus x square plus 2, and second one is g of x square minus x plus 1. I have given already the answers. Fine, I want to perform an addition, subtraction and multiplication. Let's just look at this. This is the answer. This is how we can perform addition. Okay, so just one second. Yes. So this is x cube, x square and x square is 2 times x square minus x as it is 2 plus 1 is 3, that is addition. Subtraction, x cube as it is, x square minus x square is 0, minus of minus x is plus x because it's a subtraction, 2 minus 1 is 1. Multiplication, okay, so multiply this with this is how the procedure is, as you know, right? So this is 2 minus 2x, x square plus 2x square is 3x square, x cube minus x cube is 0, again minus and plus x to the power 4 is 0, x5 is the answer. How to divide the number? Here we have a x cube, this is the degree with the x square, so x square into x is x cube, so I use a x as the quotient here, I multiply this with this, so x square into x is x cube, minus x into x is minus x square, 1 into x is x, okay, so this x cube and x cube cancels, then again subtraction, so it is 2 times x square minus x plus 2 as it is, okay, so this is 2x square, so that means 2, if I multiply this by 2, I will get the same answer. So 2 is the quotient. So 2x square minus 2x plus 2. Okay. So this 2x square cancels, minus x minus of minus 2x is x. This cancels. So the remainder is equal to x with a quotient of x plus 2. This is the answer for normal or basic. By using basic rules of algebra, we have done this polynomial arithmetical operations. Okay. Now polynomial arithmetical operation. This is the second one, very important one. Polynomial arithmetic with the coefficients in Zp. Okay. Say p is a prime number. Okay. Z7, let us say 0 to 6 are the elements. It actually forms a field. That's what I have given in the first sentence. Just look at this. The coefficients are elements of some field f. We refer this to the polynomial over the field f. Okay, now in that case such polynomials is nothing but basically it should be a ring, right? If a set of coefficients forms a field, it should be a ring because it satisfies the previous all axioms. It's referred as polynomial ring. Okay, that means if I consider each and every polynomial to be the element of a set, so I have a set here and that set consists of every polynomials, then that set is called as a ring. So when I perform a polynomial arithmetical operation like say division, okay, if it is field, in that case the division is possible. Okay, but if it is ring, in that case you cannot say that exact division is possible. Okay, so let us say I have two elements a and b, the coefficients a and b. Okay, the quotient a by b, if that exists also in the set of elements, in that case it actually forms a field. Okay, so if it is ring, in that case exact division is not possible. Okay, a by b, we also get along with the quotient we also get a remainder. So that means there is not an exact division. So it actually forms a ring. Okay. Let us say with the example I'll explain this. Now just consider this example. I want to divide 5 and 3. Okay. I'll take an example of the field as well as the ring. Now just take a set of rational numbers. This is related to the numbers. Then I'll go to the polynomials. So I have a set of rational numbers. Okay. Which is a field, you know, right? I have given that example earlier also. Okay, that means if 5 by 3 also exists, 5 by 3 is a rational number, 5 by 1, 3 by 1 are a rational number. I want to divide a 5 by 3. If the quotient is 5 by 3 and if that is allowed, because in the rational numbers 5 by 3 is allowed, that means it actually forms a field. I take an example of say yes Z7. Now I'll go to Z7, Zp, okay, where p is equal to 7. So in that case, how to calculate this 5 by 3? How to perform this 5 by 3? Because 5 and 3 are the elements, right, of that Z7, and the answer should also be in Z7. 7 is a prime number, there will be a multiplicative inverse, correct? So I can perform this 5 by 3 as 5 into 3 inverse and reduce by mod 7. Because I want the answer to be limited to 7, residue. I need to find a residue, remainder. So 5 by 3, 5 into 3 inverse. What is 3 inverse? 3 inverse is nothing but it is 5. Okay, we can verify that. So it is 5 into 5 is 25, mod 7 is 4. 4 is also part of that Z7, correct? So division is possible in this case. It is a field. What about set of integers? I say yes, it's a set of integers. Set of integers, all the numbers, it's not necessary that all the numbers should consist of a multiplicative inverse. So it is not a field, but it is a ring, right? In that case, how to perform 5 by 3? So 5 by 3, you get a remainder also, right? So 5 by 3 is equal to 1, which is a quotient, with 2 by 3 as answer. Or 5 is equal to 1 into 3 plus 2, where 2 is the remainder. So exact division is actually not possible. Now I'll go to the polynomial case. Okay, so I want to say divide f of x. Just one second. I want to divide f of x by g of x. Okay, so how we can relate by using division algorithm? F of x is equal to q of x into g of x plus r of x, where this q of x is nothing but it is the quotient and r of x is remainder. Now, this remainder may be 0, it may not be 0. I'll go back to this again. Okay, so r of x may be 0 or may not be 0. What are the degrees of these polynomials? The degree of the f of x is n, the degree of the divisor is m, quotient polynomial will have a degree equal to n minus m, and this will be having a degree, okay, which is less than or equal to m minus 1. Okay, if the remainders are allowed, we can say that it is a field. The set of coefficients, whatever is possible, is a field. Okay, if remainder is not equal to 0, so in that case I can represent that remainder as f of x mod g of x, because this will give you the remainder always, right? Isn't it? If it is 0, perfect division is possible. That means that this g of x completely divides f of x. If g of x doesn't divide completely f of x, then there exists a remainder, and that remainder can be represented something like this. Okay, if I apply the same rule to previous example, this is how I can represent. Okay, that is q of x, g of x plus r of x. The previous example which I showed earlier, okay, where my g of x was x square minus x plus 1, I think, if I am not wrong. Okay, that is g of x multiplied by q of x. This is what the answer I got, the quotient. This is the remainder I got. Okay, when I multiply all the three, when I add this with a remainder, I will get f of x. So in this same fashion, I have represented the previous example. That's all. Okay, just go through that. Now, again, I'll come back to the special case of Galois field just to recall the things, because these things are very important when I go to the next topic. Addition is equivalent to XOR operation, and multiplication is equivalent to the AND operation. Fine, this is how we can do. And subtraction is also equal to the addition. Remember, 1 plus 1, 1 minus 1 is 0 under a modulo 2 operation or Galois field of 2. 1 plus 0, 1 minus 0 is 1. 0 plus 1, 0 minus 1 is also 1. Okay, now I'll start with the example for Z7. Okay, it's a modulo, this is the arithmetical operation under ZP. So finite field I consider Z7, which is also a Galois field of 7. Okay, adding the two polynomials in this case is nothing but this. I take an example, say f of x and g of x. How to add this? Because I say the coefficients should not cross 7. It should not be 7 or more than 7. So we have to reduce it, right? So how to do that? Just how to perform an addition of two polynomials. In this case, it is a bit different. In the previous method, the coefficients can be anything. There is no limit for that. Here it is Galois field of 7. So we have to reduce by 7. Okay, so modulo 7. So 5x square plus 4x plus 6 is first polynomial. 2x plus 1 is second one. So 5x square you write as it is. 4x plus 2x is 6x, no problem. 6 plus 1 is 7, but 7 is not allowed under finite field of Z7, right? So what we have to do, reduce by 7. So 7 mod 7 is 0. So what should be the answer? The answer is 5x square plus 6x, that's it, plus 0. 6 plus 1 is 7. 7 mod 7 is 0. Okay, now how to subtract two polynomials? The same example I will take. How to subtract those polynomials? Just look at this. Okay, how to subtract here? Because I have to subtract 5x square. 5x square is as it is. 4x minus 2x. I say subtraction can be done by using the addition itself. But the thing is, we should have a additive inverse, right? So 4x minus 2x. It is 4 minus 2 of x. Minus 2. Minus 2. What is the inverse of minus 2? The inverse of minus 2 is 5. Okay, so 4x minus 2x is same as doing the addition here of 4x plus 5x, because the additive inverse of minus 2 or additive inverse of 2 is 5. Just add it. 4 plus 5 is 9. 9 mod 7 is 2. That's what I have written here, 2x. Okay, the next one is 6 minus 1. 6 minus 1 is not possible. Addition, again, inverse of 1 I need to do. What is the inverse of 1? 1, that is 6. 6 plus 6 is 12. 12 mod 7 is 5. This is the answer. How to perform a multiplication? Same method you have to do. That's it. You know how to do addition over here, right? So multiplication, f of x multiplied by g of x. Same procedure. Whenever you have to add it, reduce by 7. If it crosses 7 or more than 7, fine. It is equal to 7 or more than 7. So in that case, just reduce it by 7. So answer what we get is this. Please try this yourself. Now, this is the second example. Okay, I have a two polynomials under the Galois field of 2 now. Okay, it is not Galois field of 7 or a Z7, it is Z2, let us say, where 2 again is a prime number, right? That means the coefficients whatever I have here are either 0 or 1. Okay, so I have a 0 or 1 as the coefficient. How to perform an operation here? See this is the first one, addition. So under the Galois field of 2, remember addition is equivalent to the XOR operation, correct? So x7 is as it is, x5 as it is, x4 as it is, x cube, we have a x cube XORed with x cube, it is 0. X XORed with x is 0. 1 XORed with 1 is 0. So this is the answer. Subtraction is same as addition. Same answer. Just look at this, right? isn't it? Subtraction is same as addition in the gallows field of 2 only. Next, multiplication. Okay, I want to perform a multiplication of the two polynomials. So this is what we get. This is the by multiplying one with the first set of polynomials. So this is multiplying x with this. This line is multiplying x cube with this. You get this. Again, we have to perform an addition here. 1 as it is. X and x, it is 0. X square as it is. X cube and x cube. Okay, similar, the terms, it is 0. X cube, x to the power 4, x to the power 4, x to the power 4. This and this cancels. We left with only 1 x to the power 4. It is x4. It is similar to saying it's an XOR function between, say, 1 plus 1 plus 1. Modulo 2 addition of 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 1. Odd number of ones, the XOR gate will produce 1. That's it, right? That is the case. That's what we are applying over there. Now, the next one is, see, x5 and x5, 0, x6, 0, x2. This is 0 and x10 as it is. Division, same method. So, whenever you are performing a subtraction, it is similar to the addition, right? It is x7. This is x cube, 4 times x to the power 4. So x7, x into x4 is x5, 1 into x4 is x4. So this and this cancels. We left with x cube and x and 1, right? This is x cube, 1 times, and remainder is equal to 0. That means g of x completely divides f of x here, and the quotient part is x to the power 4 plus 1. This is the answer. Now, what do you mean by this irreducible polynomial? Irreducible polynomial is nothing but simply saying it is a prime polynomial. That means this is the polynomial which cannot be represented as the product of any two other polynomials. Let us say I compare this with a number. Say I have a 15, which is not a prime number. I can represent 15 as 5 into 3, right? That means the number can be represented as product of two numbers. Let us say 11. I cannot represent 11 as a product of any two other numbers, except that 1 and 11, right? Any two other numbers. So that 11 is a prime number. Similar to that, in the polynomial also, an irreducible polynomial is nothing but it is the prime polynomial. Fine? Now, we will check whether these polynomials are prime polynomials or not. That means, can we represent this by using product of any two other polynomials? Just look at this. x4 to the x to the power 4 plus 1 under the gallows field of 2 is reducible. It is not irreducible. That means it is not a prime polynomial. Okay, why? Because I can represent this as the product of this and this, the two polynomials. It is reducible. This is also reducible polynomial because it can be factored into x plus 1 and x plus 1. What about the next one? Say f of x is equal to x cube plus x plus 1. It is not reducible because you cannot represent that as the product of any two other polynomials. Remember, okay? There is another way by which we can always check whether the polynomial is reducible or a polynomial. What we have to do is we just have to substitute the values of this x4 as 0 or 1. Okay, either 0 or 1. If I substitute here 0, so 0 plus 1 is 1, correct? 0 plus 1 is 1. What about 1? So 1 plus 1, that is XOR function, correct? Because it's a gallows field of this one. It is 0. 1 XOR with 1 is 0. So when you get to 0, that means it can be reducible. Remainder is equal to 0. There is a particular, say, this I divide x to the power 4 plus 1 by x plus 1, then I'll get a quotient as this. No remainder. Remainder part will be equal to 0. I can represent as a product of the two polynomials. I apply here 0 plus 0 plus 1. It is equal to 1. If I substitute 1 here, 1 plus 1 plus 1, it is equal to 1. Both the time it is 1. That means it is not reducible. Remainder can't be equal to 0 here, right? Complete division is not possible. So this is the way you can use to identify whether the polynomial is a reducible polynomial or irreducible. Now just look at this. I consider polynomials with a degree 2. We have to find out which are the polynomials which are reducible and which are not. I have written all the polynomials. Okay, I have written this particular table to identify what are the polynomials are possible. So x square plus x plus 1, where x square should be equal to 1 only because I want a degree 2. All the polynomials should have a degree highest degree equal to 2. 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1. Convert those into the polynomial. This is the way, right? So I have these are the polynomials possible. Okay, now which polynomials are reducible? The first one is reducible. X into x, it can be factored. X square plus 1, the second one, x plus 1 and x plus 1, we have seen that in the last case also. X square plus x can be reduced as this. Okay, but x square plus x plus 1 is irreducible. Okay, even I substitute again 0 here, 0 plus 0 plus 1 is 1, 1 plus 1 is 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 1. So it is not possible to reduce it. So it is a irreducible or it is a prime polynomial. Now just look at this. Consider a polynomial of a degree 3. Find which polynomials are reducible and which are not. I have listed out all the polynomials and this is important. Only two polynomials are irreducible or prime polynomials, x cube plus x plus 1 and x cube plus x square plus 1. These are the irreducible polynomials. Now, so this is about irreducible polynomials and all those things. Okay. So in this video, what I have explained is I have discussed about the arithmetical operations on polynomials, and two cases I have considered. I listed three actually. I explained the two methods. Another one I will explain in some other videos. Okay, and what do you mean by the finite field of the order ZP? These things that all we discussed in this video. Hope you have understood this. Thank you for watching this video.